I was 23 years old, and I had spent the better part of my life trying to convince my parents that my younger sister, Lisa, was the true incarnation of evil. But no matter what I said, they never believed me, at least, not until now. Growing up, my parents and I always had a strained relationship, largely because of Lisa. My parents absolutely adored her. They treated her like a miracle, a beacon of hope. Because my mother had suffered a devastating miscarriage before Lisa was born, that loss had deeply affected her. And when Lisa came along a few years later, she was seen as a gift from the heavens, something to mend the cracks in their hearts. From the moment Lisa was born, she was the center of their universe. Everything revolved around her. While I loved her when we were younger, I slowly began to realize that Lisa had a natural talent for manipulation. A talent that none of my family members could see. She knew exactly how to twist stories in her favor and play the victim card with such skill that even I had to admire it. Despite being the one often left in the dust, there were countless examples, but one always stood out in my mind. It was my birthday. And I had just received the most beautiful antique pocket watch from our grandparents. My grandmother had told me it was a family heirloom, and I cherished it instantly. Lisa, on the other hand, was jealous. She kept asking if she could have it, or at least borrow it. But I said no. It was a gift, and it was special to me. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, I crawled into my bed and fell asleep, only to wake up screaming as a house spider crawled across my face. I jumped out of bed in a panic, my heart racing, and ran to get my parents. Lisa stood in the doorway, pretending to be concerned. Later, when we were alone, she smiled at me with that same creepy grin she always had when she was up to no good. She told me she had put the spider in my bed to teach me a lesson for not sharing the watch with her. It was the first time I realized just how cruel my sister could be. Over the years, Lisa's antics escalated. She would sabotage my friendships, humiliate me in front of people I liked, and constantly undermine me. There was the time I invited my classmate Mark over to watch a movie, and Lisa, accidentally, spilled juice all over my carefully picked out dress. Then spent the rest of the evening telling Mark embarrassing stories about me. Mark left in a hurry, clearly uncomfortable. It was like Lisa thrived on making me miserable. I tried to tell my parents about her behavior, but they always brushed it off. They thought I was exaggerating or simply jealous of my sister. They believed that Lisa could do no wrong, that she was innocent and sweet. In their eyes, I was the one causing problems in the family. After a while, I stopped trying to explain myself and instead focused on my studies. I worked hard, got into a good college, and moved out as soon as I could. College was a breath of fresh air for me. I finally had some distance from Lisa and my parents. I built a life for myself, made friends, and even landed a great job at a multinational corporation in San Francisco after graduation. I loved my job and my independence. I rarely went home anymore, partly because I was busy, but mostly because I didn't want to deal with the tension between me and Lisa. Whenever I did go home, Lisa made it clear that she didn't want me there. She would barely speak to me, make snide comments, and do little things to make me feel uncomfortable. My parents remained oblivious, still showering her with affection and treating her like the golden child. Then, a few months ago, everything changed. My father had a near-fatal heart attack. My mom called me in a panic, and I immediately booked a flight home to be with them. Thankfully, my dad survived, but the scare shook all of us. After he was discharged from the hospital, my father became more sentimental, expressing a desire to spend more time as a family. He suggested we all go on a family vacation, something we hadn't done in years. I was hesitant at first, knowing that being in close quarters with Lisa could only lead to disaster. But I agreed. After all, my dad had just survived a heart attack. How could I say no? Lisa wasn't thrilled about the idea either, but she went along with it. My father booked flights and accommodations for the four of us, and I cleared my schedule at work, letting my colleagues know I wouldn't be available for the week. I was determined to make the best of it, even if it meant sharing a room with Lisa. The morning we were supposed to leave, We all arrived at the airport. My parents and Lisa were excited, chatting about the trip. But when we went to check in, I discovered that my flight ticket had been mysteriously cancelled. My father was confused, insisting that he had booked and paid for all 4 tickets. When we checked with the airline, it turned out that only my ticket had been cancelled. I immediately knew who was behind it. I looked over at Lisa, and there she was, smiling that same sly smile she always wore when she had pulled off one of her schemes. She had somehow cancelled my ticket, probably using my father's computer. I confronted her right there in the airport, but she just stood there, feigning innocence while I grew more and more frustrated. My parents, of course, took her side. They said it must have been a mistake, maybe an issue with the airline. But I knew better. Lisa had never wanted me to come on this trip, and she had found a way to get rid of me. My parents suggested I book a flight for the next day, but I refused. It was clear that they didn't care whether I was there or not. They were perfectly happy to go on vacation as a family of 3. So, I told them to go ahead without me. They left. I stood there in the airport, watching them walk away, and I realized that nothing had changed. They still chose Lisa over me, even after everything she had done. It hurt, but it was nothing new. I returned to San Francisco and spent the rest of my planned vacation alone. I reconnected with some old friends, read a few books, and tried to enjoy my time off. But I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal. Once again, I had been excluded from my own family. A few days into their vacation, I woke up to several missed calls from my mother. My heart raced as I called her back, worried that something had happened to my father. When she answered, her voice was shaky. She told me that my father's heart medication had been disappearing from their hotel room day by day. At first, they thought he had simply misplaced it. But then my mother found all the missing pills in Lisa's bedside table. They confronted Lisa about it, and she had a full-blown meltdown, throwing things and screaming at them. She told them that she didn't want me to be part of the family and that if they kept choosing me over her, she would make sure they regretted it. The situation escalated so quickly that the hotel staff called the police. Lisa ended up being arrested for assault after she lashed out at one of the officers. My parents were in shock. For the first time, they were seeing Lisa for who she really was. They called me, desperate and scared, asking for my help. They were stranded in a foreign country with no passports, no money, and a daughter in jail. It was a mess, and for once, they couldn't blame it on me. I sent them money to get by, and they eventually managed to fly home after Lisa was released. When they returned, they finally sat down with me and apologized. They admitted that they had been blind to Lisa's behavior for years, that they had made excuses for her and turned a blind eye to her manipulation. They begged for my forgiveness. Part of me wanted to forgive them, to believe that things could change now that they had seen the truth. But another part of me was still hurt, still angry at the years of favoritism, the years of feeling like an outsider in my own family. I told them I needed time, and they understood. As for Lisa, my parents finally realized that she needed help. They're trying to get her into therapy, but whether or not she'll go is anyone's guess. I haven't spoken to her since the incident, and I don't plan to. For now, I am focusing on rebuilding my relationship with my parents, one step at a time. It's not easy, but at least they finally see Lisa for who she really is.